Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coach Steve Show podcast. Before we get started in today's episode, we are going to recap the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions on the Thanksgiving Day. Did that game save Matt Nagy's job? We'll speculate over Matt Nagy's job. What's going on in the Bears organization? Has he lost the locker room? All that good stuff. How did the game happen? How did they pull off the win with all the injuries that the Bears have sustained over the course of this year? Make sure you please like and subscribe to the Coach Steve Show YouTube channel. Give it a thumbs up. Be a friend, tell a friend. Audio version can be listened to anywhere you listen to your podcast: Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, literally anywhere. Please follow it. Give it a rating. Also, check out the Coach Steve Show on Colorcast. Download the Colorcast app. It is only for Apple right now, not for Android. They are working on that. Download the Colorcast app where you can commentate your own games. You can do open talk like I'm doing right now. So right now, as I record this podcast, it's also live on Colorcast as we speak. Please go download it. I don't think you guys will be disappointed if you go do that. Podcast is also brought to you by the Bill Up Sports Podcast Network. Go to BillUpSports.com and check out all the podcasts and material and blogs there. Betting season is in full swing. There's only one place you want to make your bets. It's MyBookie. If you head over to mybookie.ag to make sure that you want to use that to make your same-game parlays, in-game bets, money lines, use the code BELLYUPFANTASY, all one word, in your very first deposit. It's going to double your money. We all love free money. So please go do that. Help support the podcast and help support the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. This podcast is also brought to you by Coach Stone Football and is Back to the Basics books and drills. If you head over to CoachStoneFootball.com, check out all of his books on football drills, practice planning, game planning, strength and conditioning, and much more. You will literally never have to look up another football drill again. Here's his very first one. If you guys are watching the video version, is Back to the Basics. Back to the Basics football drill manual. His quote on here is installing confidence by laying a foundation one drill at a time by Coach Stone Football. CoachStoneFootball.com. It is literally, I kid you not, it's over 500 pages. It's right now I'm looking at 512. And it's got different drills. It tells you everything. And it can be used for college, high school, youth, wherever. But, if you're a football coach like me, you're heading back into the off season. You want to get back to the basics. So I thank Coach Stone for sponsoring the podcast. Again, CoachStoneFootball.com. And speaking of football, for your offensive linemen, are their helmets getting scuffed up during an inside run period? If so, there's a way to protect those shells and reduce those repetitive blows your guys are taking each and every week. It's Guardian Caps. Guardian Caps is going to reduce those blows by 20 to 33%, really focusing on the big guys in the trenches. It's worn by 5 NFL teams and 200-plus colleges like Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Washington, Penn State. Check them out at guardiansports.com/guardiancaps. If you head over to that website or use the link in the description in the description below, use the code 15OFF. It is good for 15% off your order at Guardian Caps. Protect the big guys in the trenches. Protect those blows. Get guardiansports.com/guardiancaps. Code 15OFF to get 15% off. So let's dive into today. The Bears came away with a very narrow victory. They had to march down the field to win on a field goal over the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day, 16-14, without Justin Fields, without Khalil Mack, without Raekwon Smith, who did end up getting hurt. So the Bears are just banged up. Coming into this game, it was a tough week for Matt Nagy and his family. They just, the rumors are swirling around. There was a rumor going around, I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday, that the Bears were going to fire him after Thanksgiving, which I discussed already, which made no sense to fire Matt Nagy right after the game on Thanksgiving. That makes zero sense. And I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Bears to do it, but the Bears do not believe in firing coaches midseason at all. So it's very weird that they would come out and say, let's fire him. Well, they'll just fire him after Thanksgiving. Makes zero sense whatsoever. They asked him about it. He said that he had not heard anything about this at all. Did not this was false. He did, cancel meetings with, Ryan Pace and the ownership and everything that he does. He does it each and every week, but he said playing on Sunday, playing on Thursday, canceled it. Said they had meetings. Then it come out, the ownership had come out and said this was false. None of it was true. That they were not going to fire him after Thanksgiving. They didn't say they weren't going to fire him at all, but they just weren't going to fire him after Thanksgiving. Then his son, I believe, goes to Lake Park up here in the suburbs. They were playing Cary Grove, and it got reported that Cary Grove student section started chanting fire Nagy in front of his son at his son's basketball game in high school. Matt Nagy was asked about that, and he said, I didn't hear any of that. He said, people came up and asked me for autographs. People came up and said nice things to me, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that's what happened. Now, I don't think that people need to be chanting fire Nagy to his son, but the chanting of fire Nagy has erupted. It erupted at the Bears game on Sunday. Then it erupted at a Bulls game, and then it just erupted at a Blackhawks game. Now it's erupting from a student section at his son's baseball game or basketball game. I don't think people need to be doing that, but it's been very tough on Matt Nagy. Now I've been verbally, outspoken on, it's time to move on from Matt Nagy. It's time for him, we need a new head coach, time to scoot because, rumors on top of this swirled around that he has lost the locker room, and I think he might have lost the locker room last year when he called out the defense saying the defense needs to play better. That I've never understood, where you go after your defense, which the defense has carried your ass during this whole thing, during your time there. The thing with Mitchell Trubisky, how that falling out. Then the development of Justin Fields is not taking the step forward because they hired Matt Nagy to coach Mitchell Trubisky to get him better. And that relationship just never, no matter what Mitch says, you could just tell that relationship never was going the way that everybody thought it was going to go. So just a tough thing for Matt Nagy this week. And you got to give him props for fighting through it. I give him a lot of props. There's a lot of props for coaching in the NFL to begin with, but, coming in, a lot of turmoil. It's Thanksgiving. And we're all on anticipation. Is he going to be fired after the game, even though they said he wasn't, blah, blah, blah. They're coming in without Justin Fields, came without Khalil Mack. Roquan Smith got hurt during the game. So Andy Dalton's time to shine. And this game was just up and down, up and down. This is what we call the NFC North Toilet Bowl, with the Bears that had come in at 3-7, the Detroit Lions 9-1 at the time. So Andy Dalton, to me, actually played very well. People very critical of Andy Dalton. I was on the Andy Dalton train from the very get-go, but he ended up having the injury on his knee. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I thought Andy Dalton played as good as he could. The offense does change with him in there. You still can move the pocket a hair, but it's not going to be quite like Justin Fields. It's not going to be, move the pocket, do RPOs. No, with Andy Dalton, you can run more of what Matt Nagy wants to run. I know Lazer's calling offense, but we know Matt Nagy's putting his nose into it. I mean, he was 24 of 39, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not bad numbers. But where you're starting to see them get away from is the run game. Like David Montgomery. First of all, what happened to Khalil Herbert? Like, that guy was carrying the load while Montgomery was out. And then we haven't seen him. He had 4 carries for 9 yards. That's a dude that you got to get more carries. I know you're trying to get David Montgomery he's the guy. But 17 carries for 46 yards doesn't get it done. So you could tell they were leaning more on passing. And I mean, Andy Dalton did have the 1 interception, but Andy Dalton was playing pretty well. But what happened to the run game? You got to stick with running zone, and you've got to have the different feel. You got to have different guys in there because you have David Montgomery, who is very fast, but he's more powerful. Then you have Khalil Herbert, that's very shifty, kind of like, he reminds me of Matt Forte. What happened to him? He carried the load and was getting you anywhere from 80 to 110 yards. Now he's just disappeared. Ever since David Montgomery's come back, he has disappeared. So I don't know what play calling has gone for Khalil Herbert. That is a dude that they have to get the ball to. He's going to be a very good running back. And to have both of them in the backfield at once with a passing threat like Andy Dalton, I think would be incredible for the Bears. I don't understand why they don't do that on offense. But here or there, it's none of my, I don't know. But so for some of the Andy Dalton haters, Andy Dalton played as well as he could. You don't have Allen Robinson, which hurts. Offensive line, only gave up 1 sack, so it's not too bad. On the flip side, Jared Goff played for the Lions. He did not play that bad, 21 of 25, 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. There was a point where I think he completed 16 or 17 straight passes, so not too bad for him. This was just it was just an evenly matched team. It wasn't an exciting overall game. People like to see points scored, moving of the ball up and down the field. But the Lions were so close to getting their first win. The only shining spot for the Bears was Darryl Mooney, had 5 catches, 123 yards. Komet finally got involved. You have to look at the tight ends. Jimmy Graham had a couple catches. So it does change with Andy Dalton. He's going to be more of a pocket passer. He's going to be short down throws, intermediate throws, which then if you can complete those, it is going to open up the long passing game for them. And I've said that from the get-go with Andy Dalton. But the Lions were actually winning. They were up, 14 to 13. And with seconds left, the Bears had to march down the field and score. But give them credit. They marched down the field. Andy Dalton led them down the field. They score. They come down and kick a field goal and win the game. It was not an exciting Thanksgiving game for probably everybody else in the NFL. And then for Bears fans, it was exciting just because you didn't get blown out on Thanksgiving. Detroit did score a lot more points the first time around that they played. But for Bears fans, it was exciting. And it was exciting to see, okay, we have 2 competent quarterbacks in Justin Fields and, more importantly, Andy Dalton, who can get you more yards in the pass game, which should open up the run game, but I just don't think they use them the right way. Now, Detroit is very close to winning. They are so close to winning a game. I was rooting for the Bears, but there's a part of, I think, everybody in our hearts and souls that the Lions should win a game at some point. I think deep down, we all are Lions fans. I want to be a Lions fan. If it wasn't for being a Bears fan, I'd probably be wearing a Lions shirt. Oh, hell, I still might go buy one. I like their logo. I like the colors. I like their hats. But you feel kind of bad for the Lions. MCDC over there. Like, you just feel so bad for them that they should win a game. Thank God didn't come against the Bears. But overall, the Bears defense did show up and play. They did have a hard time stopping overall every single player. You never knew. But when Swift went out for them, that was a big blow for Detroit in the pass game. As a running back, that did hurt them. But Jared Goff was also a little I believe it was like a bruised rib, like right underneath in the abdomen, which is hard for him to throw and move around. But he played well. Like I said, 21 of 25, 171 yards. So overall, that was a good game. It was an old school game that you saw. I think now it's been reported that Justin Fields is going to keep his starting job if he comes back. I don't know the reports. The Bears have a long time away now. They don't play again until December 5th. So they're going to have all of this week off or practicing, but it gives him time to recover. I personally don't know who you start now because Andy Dalton stood in there. Only got you 16 points, but Justin Fields isn't getting you much more points. So now the question becomes, who do you start, Andy Dalton or Justin Fields? And it's hard to sit there and sit Justin Fields because of something out of his control, which was getting hurt. He cannot control that. But Andy Dalton came in, should have won you the game, almost won you the game versus the Ravens. The defense did not step up. He threw 2 big touchdown passes there, and then against the Lions, get you over 300 some passing yards. You just got to get the run game back going. So it's going to be, I know it's reported that Justin Fields will start, but I mean, do you want to win games? You're not going to get any draft picks. You trade them all away for Justin Fields. So for the remainder of the season, we've played 11 games. You're going to have a few games left. You stick with Andy Dalton, see if you can get the pass game going and win. Because here's the thing, yeah, Justin Fields was in, but you're not winning games. You put Andy Dalton in and you won a game. So that's going to be the big question mark. And then the other question is going to be, Well, we made it through Thanksgiving, and Matt Nagy is still the head coach. So now, what happened? This is why we all have trust issues with the media. And I know I'm on a podcast. Maybe I'm part of the media. No idea. This is more of my opinion where I can talk as long as I want, get anybody on and talk as long as they will allow me to talk to them. I mean, I guess you could call me the media, but this is why I have trust issues with the media where you got reporters, even like NBC Chicago, which I guess is Chicago. You should be very careful about who's reporting for Chicago, but they reported he was going to get fired after Thanksgiving because of the patch. The patch, I guess, did that. But, before we dive into that next part with Matt Nagy, if you're a football coach with a young kicker or a developing kicker who is not reaching the end zone all the time, I have the perfect tee for you because, believe it or not, it is probably the kickoff tee. The reason that you want to go to get this kickoff tee because it will give a coach a strategic option on squib kicks, onside kicks that were never available to you before. It is Launchpad kickoff tee. It is a kicking tee with flaps on the side, not the old school orange ones. It's got flaps on the side where you can lay the ball. Even you can lay the ball sideways. And you can lean it however you want, put on the side however you want. I'm telling you, when you order it, it's going to give you a pamphlet to give you a strategic options of how to kick it, to get to the end zone, all onside kicks. It is legal for NCAA and for NFHS high school. So college and high school can use it. The Launchpad Kickoff Tee is a game changer. If you head over to launchpadkickoff.com/CSS and you use the code CSS at checkout, you are going to save 10% when you buy one kickoff tee. If you buy the 2-pack, you're going to save 20%. If you buy the 4-pack, they're going to give you the fourth one free. So you pay for the 3 and you get the fourth one free. Yes, I'm trying to save you guys money. So you football coaches in the offseason, think about getting this tee. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It's helped out our kickers. It's helped out a bunch of kickers all over the country. Again, that's launchpadkickoff.com/CSS and use the code CSS to save 10% off, 20% off, or buy 3, get the fourth one free. And if you're looking for a energy drink to help you with a midday pick-me-up, but you don't want the crash that happens after about an hour or so, I've got the place for you. Go to swiftlifestyles.com to get just that. It's a clean nutritional drink for any part of your day. They will also sponsor gamers. So if you're already a gamer on Twitch or you're thinking about it, they want to talk to you. If you go to swiftlifestyles.com and use the code Coach Steve Show, all one word, you're going to save 15% off your order. It comes in a tub with 30 servings, not an energy drink can. It's a tub that looks like a pre-workout, could be used for that, but it's for the midday pick-me-up that you need. Again, swiftlifestyles.com. Use the code Coach Steve Show, all one word, to save 15% off your order. After being home for over a year, are you thinking about getting back into the gym, or are you trying to go to the gym for the first time, but you're trying to figure out the right supplements to take? Are you looking for those supplements to help you reach your goals, just to help give you that little extra push, a little extra nudge to get to your goals? I've got the place for you. You need to check out Redcon One. If you head over to redcon1.com to check out all the supplements you need to reach your goals, they have the supplements for every part of your workout. So for right now, we're going to talk about protein. It's the biggest part after your workout, whether you're lifting or running. You need the proteins to help build up the muscle, not to get huge, but just to help, keep your body healthy. I recommend getting their Isotope whey protein. This is just one of the many supplements that they have, but this is the one I'm promoting right now. If you head over to redcon1.com or use the link in the description below to check out their Isotope pre-work or protein immediately after you work out, and use the code T20 Stephen, STEPHENKU, you're going to get 20% off your order, off your purchase. And when you go there and you're checking out, there's going to be a referral box code. If you put my first and last name in that referral box code, it helps them know that I sent you. It helps support the podcast. So again, use the link in the description below. Use the code T20 STEPHENKU for 20% off your order. I recommend the Isotope whey protein chocolate, but that's just me. So again, Redcon One, great place to get all your supplements. And you got workout gear, Redcon hoodies, shirts, shorts, anything. I recommend it. Redcon One. So did this Bears-Lions game save Matt Nagy's job? No. Now, it might have saved him the Thanksgiving. They came out and said they were not going to fire him after Thanksgiving. I believed it just because the ownership said it. But it's kind of weird how you have a news outlet start to report it all of a sudden. Just shows way mistrust into the media. Now, if the Bears had gotten blown out, let's say it was 21-0, 28-7, 30-7, or something like that, maybe he could have gotten fired. It would have been after Thanksgiving. It might have been today. But the Bears do not believe in firing. They don't believe in firing guys during midseason at all. So I don't see them firing him at all. And at this point, like, I guess at this point in the season, what's it really going to get you? He was high-fiving some guys. So this rumor about him losing the locker room, I don't think it's 100% true. I think he has lost some of the players, especially on defense, but I don't think he's fully lost the locker room. I don't appreciate people chanting "Fire Matt Nagy" at his son or "Fire Nagy" at his son's games either. But I don't think he's lost the full locker room, but I think he's lost probably 60% of it. I'm sure some of the offensive guys are not trusting in him. Him calling out the defense last year does not help out that situation whatsoever. But I think he's just lost a lot of that. But I don't. This game, I guess, saved his job probably till the end of the year. Then they're going to reevaluate. But I can also see them bringing him back at the same time. But I think we need to move on. I think this Matt Nagy experiment is over, because the offense isn't doing what it needs to do. Our defense has been playing well, but I've said this since 2018 that the defense is going to get older. They are not going to be the same as they were. But it did save his job for now. But I don't, unless they get blown out, I don't see them firing. They don't believe in doing it. And if you think about if they fire him now, what's that going to do for you, I guess? I mean, our special teams coordinator could take over. Coach Laser could take over. But is it really going to change much? Are we really going to make the playoffs? We got a tough schedule. We got to play the Vikings. We got to play the Packers. We got to play Arizona Cardinals. Like, we have a tough schedule. Does it really matter at the grand scheme of things? You might as well just keep them. We'll just ride this train out. We'll just be frustrated every single Sunday from here on out, and then we can see if we can get rid of him, get a new coach. But this game kind of saved him for the rest of the year. But I was impressed with Andy Dalton, not playing, coming in against the Ravens, doing what he did. The short turnaround, the way the Bears defense put the clamps down the Lions, giving up 14 points, put you in a great position to win. The Bears just have to get back to the running game, get Herbert back in the run game. But Andy Dalton played well, and that's what you want to see. Matt Nagy's still our coach, so we're going to see how long that goes for. But he's still the coach for now. But we'll see. But now this is going to wrap up an episode of the Coach Steve Show. Again, thank you guys so much. Check out all the affiliates in the description below. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow it wherever you listen to your podcast, all that good stuff. Check out Colorcast. It's for Apple users only, but check out Colorcast and all that good stuff. Thank you guys listening. Check out the rest of the podcast, weekly episodes. And until next time, guys, this has been another episode of the Coach Steve Show podcast, and we are out of here.